So I had to redo this video. I shot this exact same video yesterday, the same monologue, but the wind was so loud you really can't hear me, and that just didn't work. So if you've seen the previous video, this monologue for the first 5.5 minutes will be the same, and then I go on and show the same videos and everything else. So if you know anything about me, if you have watched my YouTube channel, if you've seen anything of my blogs or anything that I've written on the Scout Rifle groups on Facebook, you know that I am a Scout Rifle aficionado. I have used the Scout Rifle for many, many years. I've hunted with it. I have taken a number of classes with it, including a class that I took with a Scout Rifle that I had modified. It was a Steyr. I changed up the stock. I got it down to what's called grail weight. 3 kilograms, including the scope, the sling, and an empty magazine. Everything all in. And with that gun in that configuration, I qualified expert at a Tom Russell Scout Rifle class. Not only did I earn my expert rating, I also won the shoot-off with that rifle. And I'm saying all this not to brag, but to illustrate the fact that I really do understand the Scout Rifle. I know what they can do. I understand their strengths. I understand the appeal. I also understand their weaknesses. And really, there's 2 weaknesses with that whole platform. And number one, the optic. The optic development really stopped, and nobody has really pursued it, and that has kind of stagnated the entire Scout Rifle concept. The second weakness is that it really isn't truly general purpose anymore. When Jeff Cooper developed the Scout Rifle, he called it a general purpose rifle. It was his solution to a general purpose rifle. And at the time, it really was. But in the last, say, 10, 15 years, the long-range shooting and training community has shown everybody that we can do some things with rifles that we couldn't before. And that really expands the idea of what we should be able to call general purpose. If we're going to include long-range shooting into that definition, the Scout Rifle really doesn't qualify anymore. And that sent me on a quest. And the original part of my quest, the original goal, was to take a Scout Rifle and figure out how to get it out to longer ranges. I was thinking about 600, maybe 700 or 800 yards. The problem with stretching the legs of a Scout Rifle is the optic, because unfortunately the only optic out there that had any chance was one that Leupold discontinued. The VXR Scout Scope, if they had done a couple of things to that with the turret and the reticle, would have been able to do it, but instead of updating it, they just discontinued it. Thanks, Leupold. So real quickly, I realized that modifying a Scout Rifle and making a Scout Rifle out to long range just wasn't going to work, because you lose what a Scout Rifle is pretty quickly. So instead, I decided to pursue it in a different way. I decided to figure out what are the characteristics of a Scout Rifle that I like, what can I use from the Scout Rifle platform, and then what can I use from the long-range precision rifles, and create kind of a hybrid, one that can do it both. Now, before I go on, I understand that there are some real risks when dealing with a hybrid. You are trying to get the best of both worlds, but sometimes you end up with the worst of both worlds because you had to make too many compromises on one side or the other. If you have any questions about that, just take a look at the 40 Smith & Wesson. Enough said there. So I really wanted to try and get this to a point where it could do all of the Scout Rifle stuff and all of the long range stuff. And what I did was I booked a training class at Bang Steel down in southwestern Virginia. I'll put a link to it in the description. But the guys at Bang Steel are really neat because they've actually been pursuing this for quite a while now. Several years ago, they came up with an idea they called a Machaira. Machaira is a Greek word. It actually comes from the Bible, and at several points in the Bible, they use the word Machaira to describe a blade. It is the blade that Abram used to slay the ram. It's also the blade that Peter used to cut the ear off the soldier in the garden. So it refers to a general purpose utility blade. It's a short sword, not a long sword, but it's something that can really do it all. So the guys at Bang Steel said, and they approached this from a different way than I did. Rather than starting out with a scout rifle basis, they said, what do guys have in their closet? A 270, a 30-06, a 308, common hunting weight bolt gun. What can we do to that to get that guy out to long range? What can we do to get him out to 1,000 yards? And with them it was fairly simple. They wanted to keep it under 9 pounds. They wanted it still handy, but with a change in the scope base, a little bit of change with the scopes, and a bipod, they were really able to make this a good, doable platform. So I looked at what they were doing and I decided these are the right guys to take a training class from. Well, before I did that, I took this rifle in this configuration out to my private range to do some scout rifle training. And what I did was I took this rifle in this configuration, without the bipod by the way, but this rifle out to my private range and I did the scout rifle drills. I wanted to prove that this gun can do the scout rifle things first and then take it out to Bang Steel and prove what it can do at longer ranges. So I did the scout rifle drills, and these are the drills that Jeff Cooper wrote about in Art of the Rifle. It's the snapshot, rifle bounce, and rifle 10. Those are the 3 drills that he really used to evaluate, is this a general purpose rifle and general purpose rifleman? And I think that drill is still, those 3 drills are still used by Gunsight in the Rifle 270 class. They are definitely used by Tom Russell in his 5.5-day scout rifle class. So that's the baseline. That's what we use to see, can this rifle do those things? Maybe not as well as a scout, but can it do them in the times and the scores that are acceptable to Jeff Cooper for his general purpose rifle? Then we're going to show you what it can do here at the Bang Steel range, going out and stretching the legs. So let's start off with the video from last week at the private range doing the scout rifle stuff. Okay, first drill, the snapshot. This is from high ready, 1 shot on the head in less than 1.5 seconds. Let's see how this goes. Oh, and I have to repeat that 3 times in a row. Okay, that was good. .146. First one was 149. .130. Those are 3 headshots. I'll even show you to prove it. We go down here. They're not perfectly centered headshots, but they are headshots. Those count. Okay, 3 headshots, less than 1.5 seconds per shot. That's test 1. Okay, so the next one is rifle bounce, but I have to do a modified version of rifle bounce. I don't have the target package for that. So what I have done is I've set out targets at 100 yards to match the equivalent size of the targets in the real rifle bounce, which is at 100 200 and 300 yards. But instead of having a 12-inch target at each distance, I'm going to have a 12-inch at 100, a 6-inch, and a 4-inch target. So that's going to be comparatively the same size. The goal here is to complete the drill, 3 different shooting positions, starting with standing, then dropping to sitting, and then to prone. You actually have to move mats for each one, and do all of that in under 20 seconds. So, let's see how it goes. That was 1875. Okay, this last drill is called Rifle 10, and it's tough. I'm going to be shooting at an IPSC target that is 300 yards downrange. And the way that this one works is on the buzzer, I drop and take 2 shots from 300 yards. I then run 25 yards, take 2 more shots, run 25 yards, 2 more shots. Any position on any of those, and I can use terrain features to help. But then the last 2 shots are taken at 200 yards. Those have to be taken from standing. The scoring is an IPSC target. Any hit in the A zone is 5 points, 4 points for a C zone, 2 points for any shot on paper, but it has to be done in 2 minutes. It is really windy out here today. I'm not sure how this is going to work. So we'll give it a go and see what happens. All right, let me get my ears in. Eyes. Okay. Ready? "109 seconds. So that's under 2 minutes. Now we got to check the target. Go ahead and pause. All right, so here we go. Good, but not perfect. Pretty good though. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow. I'm going to call that 6 in the A zone. So 6 times 5 is 30. You've got 2 in the C zone, so that's 38, and then 2 more in the D zone. That puts us at 42. So within 2 minutes, that makes it. That's passing. I'll take it. So that's the last test. That's rifle 10. So we've done rifle bounce, snapshot, and rifle 10. All of them with a gun that is set up for doing something else. We'll see that in the next drills. So this rifle was able to accomplish everything that a scout rifle can do. It may not do it as well. The point was not to make it the best scout rifle. That wasn't the goal. But I wanted to be able to do the same types of things that a scout rifle can do. And now I'm out here at the Bang Steel Shooting School, and you can see the range behind me here. These targets range anywhere from 600 to 900 going this direction. Out that direction, he's got 600, 1,000, and even a 1,200 yard target. And yesterday we started off with this. I learned a couple of things about this, and I'm realizing that, you know what, this is not going to be the best long-range shooter. But again, that wasn't the goal. The goal was a general purpose rifle. A general purpose rifle needs to be able to do all things fairly well, but not necessarily the best at any one thing. And this is showing to be able to do that. I'm going to go ahead and end this video, and we're going to go out with some video on me making some shots at those longer ranges. But there will be a couple of future videos. The next video that I do, I will go over all the features of this rifle. I'll explain about the suppressor and some things to consider there. The bipod, the scope, the sling. We'll go over all of the details of this rifle and how I set it up so that you can get some ideas in setting up yours. Then I will do one more video just talking about scopes. There's a huge amount to talk about with scopes, from adjustment range to focal planes and all that good stuff. We'll get into that in a future video. So I've got 2 upcoming. You might want to subscribe to my YouTube channel to pick up all of those. But we'll go out of here with some video of some long-range shooting. Thanks for watching. Okay, so I want to do a couple of closing notes here before I finish up. The second day of this class ended up working out a whole lot better. I figured out some problems, a couple of issues, and that rifle really, really shot well out to some crazy ranges. I mean, I was able to dial out to 1,200 yards. I made some hits at 1,200. That's a little more than is really reasonable, and I think beyond what is considered practical range. But 1,000, 600, 800, 900 yards, all of those worked very, very well with this Machaira style rifle. So very happy with it, very happy that I came out and did all this. It was a challenging day. The winds were just swirling and crazy. But bottom line, the general purpose rifle works. It absolutely does. And again, I will have another video out here in a few days going over all of the details of this particular rifle. Anyway, thanks for watching.
Got it. Attack coming up the road. Ready. There we go. Ready. Doing 11 minutes of left windage.
Yes.
Hit right edge. Just keep it on 11, Steve.
This is Steve, 1,040 yards.
Ready.
8 minutes right windage, left windage.
Went to the right about 3 minutes. Was that 11?
That was 11, yes.
It'll probably come down off of that. Go to 12.
12 minutes left windage.
Yeah, get 12 minutes left.
Shooter ready?
Ready. Drop it, son, man. Hit.
Hit
Left edge, 8 o'clock.
yards.
Hit. I would go back to 11. Copy.
Copy. Shooter ready?
Ready. Dead center, hit. Hit ricocheted down. That's what you saw on the
There
ground.
you
You see
go.
the plate move.
1,040 yards with a scout rifle. Steyr scout rifle.
Ready. Hit again. Excellent, Steve.
Awesome.
Don't need him up too much.